Everybody, welcome back to N1 Your Hero. Here's the thing. Everybody wanted me to watch this movie called Get Out. And I just watched it 2 days ago from now. So, my mom wanted me to watch it and everybody wanted me to watch it, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. This is my, not in all the parts of a review on it, but we're just going to talk about the parts that the movie was trying to really say, and that's not really on the surface of what was shown. So, to me, it's a black guy and this white girl who's in a relationship with, and but he was worried that that the black girl wasn't gonna that the white girl, that she didn't tell her parents about him because he's supposed to be taking this trip, but in the beginning of the movie there's a black guy that doesn't know where he is or anything like that, and they already are trying to tick you off, okay? Where in the beginning, first of all, a spiritual thing is the music that they say, must stay woke. Second thing I noticed is there's a black guy who gets choked and he gets dragged off. So they're already trying to make you mad. In the very beginning of this movie, they want you to get started. They want you to not think. They want you to get in your anger mode. They want you to be in your fight or flight state, in that type of way of thinking, your racist thinking mode. Because if you calm down and you take a deeper look at this movie, you're going to get some answers. Now, next thing I noticed, they hit a deer. So that's a bad sign. That's a sign that the guy really pondered upon. When he hit that deer, see, the white girl was telling him, don't go next to the door, blah, blah, blah. But when you're a nice person and you have a good heart, you care for things that you hurt. And he went to the deer was groaning, and he really pondered that, like, man, maybe I shouldn't have came here. That's his thoughts, all right? So he's conscious, he's, must stay woke. He's woke a little bit. But, he pushes that aside. Police comes, the next thing, the police coming and stuff, and the girl was like, oh, well, the police like, hey, man, show me your ID. But she's like, oh, but he wasn't the driver. And so she goes and protects him, and she protects him by saying, well, he doesn't have to show your ID because he wasn't the driver. That's bullcrap, and you know it. And so when the police officer comes, he represents the system as of right now, because everybody is expecting, oh shoot, some stuff about to go down. He about to try to hurt this black guy and try to kill him, like we've been seeing on the news all the time. Okay, but what happened? They showed something very specific that could change that. They showed her beating the system. Her as a white person, that's what she was able to do. The police officer, he left it alone. Okay, so another thing I noticed at the house, before they eat dinner, he gets a tour of a house, okay? I may have this part a little bit kind of messed up, but I'm just talking about the parts that really spoke out to me. So they kind of sucker him in a little bit because her dad notices that he smokes, because he used to be a smoker, supposedly, and he was like hitting the table repeatedly. So his nerves is up, he's nervous, he's in a place he don't know, he was told by his friend not to go to her house and stuff. They only knew each other for supposedly 4 months and whatnot like that. So the guy is already expressing, her father, the white girl's father, is already expressing weird stuff. He's like, so how long has this been going on? What's this about? So, okay, but this isn't spiritual stuff. That is just to get your nerves going. What spiritual is here is where the guy goes outside. Okay, it's nighttime, his nerves is up, whatever. He goes outside to clear his head, and he's about to grab a cigarette. Okay, so there's this black guy running towards him. It's one of the supposed people that work there that's black. And the black people seem to be working there. What happens is the spiritual part comes in is when he goes back in the house. It's not necessarily when he's got the camera and he's taking pictures, or when he's trying to take a look at the black people. That's not it. It's when he goes back in the house. And then the mom is there. Her mom is there. And she catches him off guard. So as she's talking to him, trying to get in his head, she takes a mug. This mug represents a singing bowl. With a singing bowl, what you do is, it's either acrylic or it's metal, and it's a big bowl. If you go to a spiritual store, you'll see it. A place like Mystic Valley or something like that. And you take it, and what you do with it is you take this, I guess it's like a stick, and you go around the edge of it, and it starts off like, like that, and then it just starts getting like a real big noise, like whoa, and it gets louder. It's a lot louder than what I could do. But it's supposed to help you meditate better. It's a spiritual thing. They're trying to get you to be afraid of this, because what happens next with the guy is he ends up in a little bit of a trance state. Meditation. Here it is. She ends up making him go deeper into the trance state, which is good for things like lucid dreaming and astral projection, which is on a higher spiritual level to be able to do those things. But this here, like I'm saying, they're trying to scare you so that you don't do that, especially black folks. And anybody else that watches this, oh no, I might get, she might try to trick me and being hypnotized. That's not a bad thing. Hypnotism also helps you to remember stuff like past lives, stuff you forgot, okay? But you still remember. It's in your soul memory, not your physical body memory, okay? So the thing is that after that, she tells him, she gets him to recite how his mom died, all that stuff. She brings up his emotion, his energy, his negative energy of emotion. Because remember, this guy is he's a good person. He's on a higher vibration right now. But whenever she's getting him lower and lower and lower and lower in these vibrations, getting him in his worst fears, what he doesn't like. He starts crying, and boom. See, that's when she got him. She had to get him on such a low spiritual level, on such a low vibration, to actually attack the guy. Because he wasn't having none of it. He wasn't having any of it at first. So now she got him. And then after what did she say? She said, now you're in the sunken place. Now you're in the sunken place. So if we remember what our dimensions is like, you've got higher dimensions, 4D, 5D, and up. Then you got the lower dimensions, which is, like below 3D, and then you go down from there. Okay? So she said you're in the sunken place. If you're going lower in dimensions, you're hitting the demons. You're hitting the bad entities and all that stuff. So here's the deal. Next, after that, he goes to his girlfriend and says, hey, last night your mom hypnotized me. But it's weird because he went to sleep after he got hypnotized. And he woke up after it. It was like, because remember, he's in his head now. He's not necessarily in the 3D with that. He's not necessarily in the real world with that. He was in his head, which is why he woke up out of it. Like, how you meditate sometimes, and then you find yourself, you go to sleep. That's what he did. He went to sleep. Well, he woke up, and it's like, it was so real. That's like vivid, like a lucid dream almost. Except he just couldn't control what was happening, but he was really aware. Now, next thing. We're going to go to the next thing. Another thing that sticks out to me is this. He starts talking to the black people, and they seem hypnotized. He knows he's feeling it. His energy, his vibration, the way the universe is talking to him through the dare, through the way he's feeling. This is a bad thing. You need to get out. Like the movie's called, Get Out. You need to leave. But here's the thing. Here's another thing that stands out to me is the part where where the family's there, okay? He goes to the black guy, talks to the black guy, find out he's acting weird, but he seems familiar because he kind of knows him or whatever. But the next spiritual thing is this. He takes a camera, flashes it at the black guy. Black guy, he snaps out of the hypnosis. Now he sees the real thing. This is kind of like when you open your third eye. This is like when they say your third eye, your mind's eye, your pineal gland. It's like when you open that up, you're going to see the stuff that tries to deceive you. You're going to see that you've been in a deception, or you've been deceived. But you might see demons, but you got to get through those demons to get to the higher realms, the angels, and all that stuff. Because you got to get your power back. If you're down there, man, you got to come out of that. But coming out of that, you got to fight a little bit. And then you can get out. So what happened to him was the same thing. Because everybody knows that dude was brainwashed, man. That dude was hypnotized. When he came out of it with the flash, okay, from the camera, he said, he came back to his senses. Get out, get out. So it's like his third eye's being open. Get out, you got to get out. He saw the truth of things. And he was trying to warn the guy. What happens next is big. They take him back in the house to the mom, to his girlfriend's mom or whatever, and what happens is that, what does he say when he come out? He says, so he's brainwashed again, and he comes out and says something very specific. He comes out and says, I thank God that I'm back to normal. That's a red flag. how you gonna thank God you back to normal? So basically it's like they're talking about people who open their third eye, see demons, they're no longer deceived, they don't like the truth, so they go back to church to be brainwashed some more. That's what that's kind of like. That's what that's really representing. Hate to say that, but that's what it is. Because he came out and he said, I thank God. And they never talked about God this whole freaking movie, except right after that. So you gotta wake up. So, now, he supposedly back to normal. Well, no, he's back to being brainwashed. The next things that stick out to me is they start getting ready to kill or take control of the black guy. Now, what they do here is kind of freaky because everybody gets together and it's like a funeral. It looks like a funeral, but it's also an auction. They got his picture up there as if he's going to die, like somebody died. Okay, but it's also an auction. Everybody's bidding. He's raising hands. He's this month. I don't know how much money they was talking about. He went like this. He got all the way to this many, and then he went like this again. And then the person that supposedly won this guy's body is the blind man. Now, I talked to the blind man before I got to this part. He already talked to the blind guy about, well, how can you sit here and be a master at what's good art, what's bad art, and how do you know art is good? He's like, well, I got a person that describes it to me. And then he's like, well, this life ain't fair. He's like, yeah, life ain't fair. So the next spiritual thing that I want y'all to get is the part where he gets. Okay, so the next spiritual part I want y'all to get is the part where he gets strapped in a chair. Okay, he's actually finding out, oh crap, this girl's in on it. I want to get out of here. He finds those pictures and all this black dude. So they only do this to black folks. Interesting. Okay, so what happens is that while he's in this freaking chair, they knock him out. She didn't give him the keys. They drag him down to this room. Now, he's in front of a TV. Interesting, because what did she ask the main character, the black dude? What did she ask him in the beginning of the movie? Do you watch TV? He said, no, I haven't watched TV in a long time. Bingo, that helped him out. Because, see, he's not susceptible to suggestion through TV. If he watched TV, like a lot, he would have been more susceptible to those tactics they was using him while he was in that chair. But because he hasn't watched TV, he wasn't bothered and susceptible to suggestion as much. Even though he was susceptible to suggestion through the hypnosis and through that supposed ceramic bowl she was using, or mug she was using like a singing bowl. He's not through the TV though. So as you can see, they flick the channel. They make him go back deep into hypnosis again by using that same tick, that freaking mug with the spoon going in a circle, using it as a singing bowl. Okay, now here's the spiritual part. The guy all of a sudden pops up. Okay, and it's some guy that used to be back in the family back then. Okay, and they tell him, oh, what's your gifts? He says, well, to the black guy, to the black people. They're referring to black folks. With y'all's gifts, with y'all's abilities, with your genetics, plus us white people, what we know, with the money we have, with the power we wield, we can become unstoppable. We can do amazing things. This movie is trying to tell you in a way that's under the surface, below the surface of this movie. It's trying to tell you that black people and white people need to come together to beat it, to become unstoppable, to be doing great things, to do that stuff. Because what do we know? We know that a lot of white people have misinformation through school and whatnot. A lot of black people who go through the poverty, who go through the hardships, they have the true information. We look for the truth all the time. Okay, but who has most of the money though? Who has most of the money is the white people though. So with, and we have different genetics that run fast, physically good, strong, and in the Egyptian days, they knew a lot of stuff. They knew how to farm, all that stuff. And, that's why they took the slaves over to do that stuff for them, because the white people didn't know how to do that stuff. They didn't know how to build. They didn't know how to farm. All right? The black people did. The kings and queens and all that stuff, the black folks did. So that's important. So what I'm trying to tell you is that's part of the spiritual part right there. The next clip they show, they go do the singing bowl thing, boom. He goes under hypnosis again, comes back out of it, boom. Now we have the blind guy. The blind guy's like, oh, I suppose I'm supposed to tell you what's going to happen next. This is phase 2 of the transplant, whatever they say. So this is phase 2. He's like, he said, what does he say to the black guy? He says, I can give a crap less. Now this is the system talking to you through this movie. Now remember, you're supposed to be susceptible to suggestion through a TV. So you're watching it on a movie screen or your TV screen at home, but it's also showing it on a TV screen in the movie. Okay, so he says, I can give a crap less what race you are. I just want what you can provide for me. I just want your gifts. But for you, I want your eye. I could have sworn he said eye, like as if, like his third eye, like the way he sees things. Remember, as an artist, he likes the way he sees things differently. He says, man, the stuff you capture in your camera is different. Okay, because he's a bit of a woken person. Now, here we go. That's what he says. I want your eyes, man. I want what you got. So what's going to happen is they're supposed to take his consciousness and put it in his body. Or they're supposed to switch, okay? That's what's supposed to happen. Now, there's been a lot of movies like this. They're talking about this, consciousness that, you know, switching consciousness and bodies. But that's not how it really is. That's not really where it should be going. With your consciousness, what you want to do is you want to have control over your own consciousness. Or else somebody else will have control over it. And they're actually telling you this. Because he didn't have control over his own consciousness enough. Guess what? This blind man's about to take it. So, but after they turn it off, he's tripping out, and the thing about it is, because he wasn't watch TV like that all the time, he's not as susceptible. Remember I said that. So, remember as a kid, he was scratching the chair. Well, now it's a sofa. He scratches the sofa, and he takes a look at the cotton, and he puts the cotton in his ears. Okay? He's still awoken a bit. Now remember, the only reason why that he was getting more awoken for is because, you know how every day you go to sleep. You wake up, you learn a little bit more, then you wake up, that's more awareness. The more knowledge you get, the more awareness you'll have the next day. You remember, throughout this movie, he was talking to his friend Rob. And Rob was always filling him in on new information. Oh, we know that guy, that's the guy from Brooklyn, blah, blah, blah. And that was bringing him, every time he went to sleep, or every time he came out of hypnosis, that's more awareness that he always had. That's why he was able to get control of his freaking self and take the freaking cotton from the sofa, put it in his ears. This is the part where he's actually able to beat them. Okay, he goes through, he beats them. He takes a look at a deer. Now this is the second time he sees this deer. The first time the deer tried to get him out and get him to escape. Okay, deer represents what? Your fight or flight response. So, but it also represents, you know, the world, the nature, but more or less, the deer is helping him escape again. This time it's a buck with pointed horns, and we all know he takes the buck and he's killing people with it. Okay, boom. So, because of that, him being a spiritually awoken person, him taking in the signs and stuff like that, he was actually able to get out of this situation that he was in. Alright? So, that's pretty much my take on that movie. Alright, it's deeper than you think it is, and you gotta not look at it on a surface level. They're telling you things right in your face about working together, you can become unstoppable. Now, even the white guy said it, her brother, supposed brother, whatever, said so. You know, if you wasn't, what do you say? If you're, with your gifts, your genetics, and with your strength, you can become a beast, is what he said. Like UFC fighter, you could be a beast, but you can't bullcrap around though. So, go hard or go home. If he does that, he could become a beast though. I'm just letting y'all know. That's my take on the movie. I watched it, Mom. There you go. And like I said, it's a lot deeper than what you think. So, black and white come together, beat the system. Beat the people.